The village where shadows spoke. That night, I heard my dead mother's voice, but it wasn't coming from her grave. It was coming from her shadow. My name is Chidi. I grew up in a small village called Umuaka, deep inside Imo State. It was a quiet place, farms, palm trees, red soil, and evening songs from the crickets. But there was one thing our elders always warned us about: never walk alone when the moon is full. That's when shadows start to speak. I never believed it. I thought it was just another village tale meant to scare children. But I learned the truth one dry season night. It started when my uncle died. He was buried behind our compound, like everyone else. A few nights later, my aunt began saying strange things. She said she could still hear him calling her name at night. She said his shadow still moved outside her window. We all laughed. My aunt had always been emotional. But then, my cousin, Obi, swore he saw something too. He said he saw two shadows walking past the wall, even though there was only one person there, my aunt. That was when fear began to grow in the village. A week later, the priest of the village shrine came to perform cleansing. He burned herbs and poured libation, but the shadows didn't stop. People started hearing whispers at night, low voices coming from the ground, from walls, even from their own shadows when the moonlight hit them. Sometimes, the voices called their names. Sometimes, they laughed. Sometimes, they cried. The old men said it meant the ancestors were angry. But nobody knew why. One night, I decided to see it for myself. The moon was bright. The kind of night when every tree and every hut throws a clear shadow on the ground. My friends, Obi and Namdi, and I walked toward the old square, near the big mango tree. That was where people said the shadows gathered. We carried a lantern and a small cutlass, just in case. When we reached the square, it was empty. The air was still. The crickets were silent. Only the sound of dry leaves crunching under our feet. Then Obi pointed at something on the ground. Our shadows were there, clear under the moonlight. But there was another shadow beside us, long and crooked, like someone was standing behind us. But there was nobody there. I felt cold. Then the shadow moved. It stretched slowly toward me, then stopped right beside my feet. I froze. Obi dropped the lantern. The light flickered and the shadow leaned closer. And then, I heard it. A voice. Soft. Cracked. Like dry wind through old leaves. It said, Chidi. My name. I wanted to run, but my legs refused to move. My mouth went dry. Then it spoke again, Chidi, come. That was my mother's voice. My mother who died 2 years before. I screamed and ran. The others followed. We didn't stop until we reached my father's hut. We were sweating and shaking. My father came out, angry, asking what happened. I told him everything, the shadows, the voice, my mother calling me. He looked at me for a long time, then said quietly, now you know why we don't walk under full moon. He went inside and came back with a calabash of palm wine. He poured some on the ground and whispered a prayer I didn't understand. Then he told me to stay inside till sunrise. That night, I couldn't sleep. The moonlight came through the small window. I could see my shadow on the wall. It looked normal until it smiled. I turned away, covered myself with a cloth, and stayed like that till morning. The next day, people in the village gathered. Everyone had stories. A woman said her child's shadow started playing by itself. A farmer said he saw his own shadow dig into the soil. Even the chief's son said his shadow stood still while he moved. The elders called for another cleansing. They said the land was cursed, that something had been buried wrongly near the river. They went there with the priest and dug deep. What they found made them all kneel. A skull. Human. Wrapped in white cloth. The priest said whoever hid that skull trapped a restless spirit. That's why the shadows had begun to speak, the spirits were searching for peace. They burned the cloth, buried the skull properly, and performed rituals all through the night. After that, the voices stopped. The village went quiet again. But I still remember that night, the sound of my mother's voice coming from my shadow. Sometimes, when the moon is full, I still feel like it moves a little on its own. I don't look at it for too long anymore. Because I know, in Umuaka, shadows remember. And sometimes, they still speak.